Hey everybody! Wanted to do a special lesson today for those of you who spend a lot of time, like I do, sitting, reaching forward, leaning forward, bending or twisting. So no matter what it is that you do throughout the day, this is going to help you, especially if you are doing some of those more forward things. So first thing to just notice in sitting or standing is, where do you feel your shoulders hanging out? And if you're sitting, where is your pelvis? Is it rolled back? Are you slouched? Typically when the pelvis is rolled back, our shoulders are forward. So if you change where your pelvis is, that can help you lean, or not lean, but bring your body upright. But what if you still have to go forward? You want to think of where you're moving from the hip joints. So instead of, hopefully you can see this from the side, instead of bending through the back, which we don't want to do, that puts the strain right here. You want to actually think of hinging from the hip joints so your back stays straight in that normal, well, there's a normal curve. That's what I mean by straight. You don't bend through that normal curve, and you're actually hinging from your hip joints. Then that leaves you to be a little more upright as you work forward, and when you need to take a break, you unhinge your hip joints. So you're not putting the strain on the neck, the shoulders, or the upper back that way. Well, what if you've already been doing some things in a not so good position? Tension patterns may have already set into your muscles. Your chest muscles may be tighter, your shoulders may be more forward if we look at the side of you. So that's what we're going to work with today, is for those of you who might have some forward tension in the shoulders with the chest muscles not really wanting to let go. So we're going to work on that today. First thing is we'll have you find your way to your back. Somewhere comfortable. I have a nice table cut out specifically for this work. It's firmer. If you can be on the floor, that's great. If you're on a mattress, that's still going to be fine. You'll get a little more feedback from something firmer, so you can throw a sleeping bag or a quilt on the hard floor if that works for you. So we'll give you a moment to find your way to the floor or to some surface that you can lie down on. If you're outside, a nice spot on the grass. And just observe what parts of yourself you feel touching. Notice in particular how the shoulder blades are resting. So if you have the shoulders that have a lot of chest tension from doing a lot of forward work during the day, your shoulder blades, those wing bones, may not even actually be touching towards the outside, but you may feel the point or the bottom part of the shoulder blade pressing down harder if the shoulders are really forward, or you might not feel much of the shoulder at all. So just take a moment to see what the story is on your right side compared to the left side. And notice through the rest of your body how you're resting. Slowly roll your head from side to side just to notice how far you go, what feels easy, what doesn't feel easy. And you're not pushing into strain or pain. If you have pain when you reach a certain point, the next time you go in that direction, make the movement smaller. So you want to stop before you get to that painful spot. If you have one. If you don't, we're just improving the movement here. And notice when you turn the neck how far down you feel that motion, how far down yourself, are the shoulders moving? Is anything else besides the neck moving? Just observe. And then resting. Go ahead and bring the knees up so that they're about shoulder width apart at least, and the feet are the same. And not super far away from your pelvis, but as close to the pelvis as you can comfortably. And we're going to start by bringing your right hand up to the abdomen so that the elbow starts to go into the air, and as if you wanted to bring the back of your hand to your chest. So you're sliding the hand up, back of the hand is to your chest, and your fingers are pointing down. So it's kind of a weird position, but the back of the hand is going towards the chest, the elbow is bent, the elbow is in the air, and you're bringing the back of the hand to the chest, somewhere on the chest. So if you're working, let's start with the right arm first. If you put the back of the right hand a little more to the left, typically for most people that's a little more comfortable to start with. If you're able to get to the breastbone, that's fine. The hand can be lower or higher, and we're going to explore some of that today. But if you have the hand way to the right, for most people that's pretty tough to do in the beginning, unless you have really flexible wrists and not much shoulder tension. So go ahead and rest here for a minute. Bring that hand back up, sliding along your abdomen to the chest, to a place where it feels fairly comfortable to rest. You're going to use your other hand, your left hand, to draw the elbow towards the center of yourself, like above your face, as if you were bringing the right elbow towards your midline. And just notice what happens to the right shoulder blade. See if you can feel that right shoulder blade kind of sliding out to the side. You're trying to tune into what you feel. It's hard for a lot of people to reach their own shoulder blade when they're doing this motion, but you're imagining that you're traveling into that shoulder blade, and what does that shoulder blade do when you move the elbow in towards the midline? If you visualize your spine of your upper back, that shoulder blade, if this is your spine and this is your shoulder blade, when you move the elbow, that shoulder blade's actually moving out to the right and up towards the ceiling or the sky if you're outside. So see if you can get a sense of that with the back of the hand somewhere on the chest that's comfortable as you draw your elbow towards your midline. What moves and how does it move? And then you rest and you just notice, how is that shoulder resting right now? Maybe something gave way a little bit in the chest on the right side, the side that we've been working on. And actually my shoulder feels like it's resting a little flatter now after we did that. Ooh, and it's going to induce a yawn. Never suppress a yawn during a movement lesson anyway. There might be times in life where you might want to hold a yawn back. Go ahead and draw the back of the hand up to somewhere where it's comfortable on the chest, and you're actually going to try several spots as you take your right elbow towards your midline. You'll move the hand lower on the chest, feel where that connects to, maybe right on the breastbone if you can. Again, this can be tough on the wrists or the shoulder, so make sure you don't push into pain, but maybe go along the collarbone on the left side, down on your actual chest, below the chest, kind of near the rib cage. You can try some different spots. And you're allowing the back of the hand, you're not trying to push with all your might, but you're allowing the back of the hand to push into the chest to soften the chest. Because as the shoulder slides forward and the elbow moves to the midline, something's got to give over here to have that movement happen. Observe what you're sensing from doing that. Go ahead and roll your head just to see what that feels like right now. You're going to take your left hand and place it behind your head. And you're going to lift and lower your head, looking towards the right hip joint. And just feel how as you lift your head, something pushes down in your back, the shoulder blades, the mid-back, maybe even the low back, in order to allow you to lift your head. Something's got to press down. Good, you let that go. Now we put the back of the hand back up on the chest, somewhere where it's comfortable. And this time think of drawing the elbow. You can actually use your left hand to help. Elbow towards your forehead. Not that you're even going to get close, but you're moving in that direction. And you just feel, try to move your sensory awareness into your right shoulder blade, the right front of the shoulder. Try to feel what bones are moving. Good, and resting. Now bringing the back of the hand up to the chest, the right hand on the chest again, fingers pointing downward. Left hand, palm up, is underneath your the back of your head. You're going to turn your head a little bit to the right to look at that little nook and cranny you're making between the right upper arm and the right lower arm. And you're going to lift your head as you draw your elbow towards your face. And it might not touch. And there's no, nothing miraculous that's going to happen if they do touch. If they do, that's fine. If they don't, that's fine. Each time you can try to go a little farther. But as you lift your head and bring your elbow towards your forehead, notice what folds in your back. Notice what folds in your chest. Notice if you're breathing if you do this. And if you're holding your breath, invite yourself back to breathing and try the movement again. Go ahead and rest fully with the legs out. Wow, and just feel what is different. My whole right side actually feels lower and flatter, and it really feels like the shoulder is resting much more than it did at the beginning. I can feel more of that shoulder blade. Go ahead and check out the rolling of the head. And for purposes of this lesson, you can go ahead and do the whole thing on the other side. Just reverse the side, so you'll do it with the back of the left hand to the chest, and then come to this point again in the video, and then we can come up to sitting. And so after you've done that on both sides, just notice how the shoulders are right now in sitting. Notice what it feels like through the front of each shoulder. And we can do some of the pieces that we did on your back in sitting. So let's say you're in sitting and you notice like some of these muscles starting to get tense. You can do a few of these pieces in sitting. It's really nice and ideal if you can lie down to get that nice effect of great release through the pec and chest muscles. especially in the beginning if you've had a lot of tension patterns. It's great to do it on your back, but you can do some of these pieces in sitting. And so for sitting, you're gonna bring, you can actually bring both of the back of the hands to the chest and just see how is it like for the back of the hands to touch the chest, and can the elbows move towards one another? Can you look up and down using the whole of the spine, and just feel how the elbows move down, the elbows move up, and the pelvis can help out. So the pelvis can roll back and it can roll back up. That can help release some of that tightness if you're bent forward throughout the day. This stuff gets pretty relaxing, so then the wiring to the mouth gets off a bit. Plus the chamomile tea today didn't probably help that too much. But anyway, nice and relaxed. Back of the hand, let's try the left hand now, to the chest. You're gonna have the elbow in a comfortable position. With your other hand, you're gonna draw the elbow towards your midline, just like we did on the back, just to feel here how that shoulder blade slides to the outside. And you can get a little more movement here in sitting because we're not lying on our backs, and the surface that we're lying on is not limiting the motion. So you may actually feel turning all the way down to your pelvis. Good. Rest the wrist, because that gets a bit much to bend your wrists if your joints are really flexible like mine are. And even if they aren't, you might try the fist to the chest with the wrist straight if the back of the hand is painful. Maybe you have something going on with the wrist. So just modify as you need to for yourself. Then a little piece of this that you can do, back of the hand to the chest. If you think of drawing a circle with the elbow, you can think of a paintbrush on the end of your elbow, where you dipped your elbow in paint and you've got a canvas in front of you, and you want to paint a little circle, not a huge circle, but start out with a little circle, and notice, what is it like to just do it with the elbow and the arm and the shoulder? Ooh, I'm getting a kink in my neck already. So if we work a little smarter and we say, what if when I bring the elbow up, the pelvis goes forward to arch the back? What if when I bring the elbow down, the pelvis rolls backwards to slouch the back, and you get a little more motion this way? Then you just add the side to side. You can move the elbow in a circle, but you're allowing the pelvis to roll backwards when the elbow goes down and come forward when the elbow goes up. So this distributes the load. Instead of all of that tension going on in the shoulder and only the shoulder moving, you're actually using your whole spine. And you can have the other hand on your elbow to kind of snug in the elbow there. And again, you take a break to let the wrist go on vacation here. And you just observe how you're feeling at this place. And then we're going to bring the back of the hand back up to the chest. This time you're going to use the right hand to lift the arm, and you're going to bend your head forward. Now your elbow and your head might not touch right away, depending on your flexibility at the moment in time. And so you can use either a rolled up towel, or you can even use a bridge between your pinky finger and your thumb. And you can think of drawing the circle here with the bridge. So I felt a little strain if I tried to do it without the connection today. Maybe because that's why I need a chamomile tea today, a lot going on in life. So sometimes that causes us to hold more muscle tension, so you build a bridge. Whether it's a pillow you put here, a folded up towel, or if you can get your fist down there, or if they can actually touch, do it that way. But the point is, you can make a circle either with or without the neck down. You could do it just like this. See, my neck is still moving, but it's another way to help free up some of the neck shoulder tension that happens if you do a lot of forward sitting and forward work. So just observe after doing that what your shoulders feel like. And wow, oh my goodness. My shoulder that I just worked on really feels backwards. It really feels down. My neck feels pretty darn limber. And you can even check on your back to see what the differences are. After doing the sitting piece, you can definitely do what we did on the other side, so you can stop the video and rewind it to the sitting part and do that on your right side. But just notice now how you're resting, and both of my shoulders feel pretty darn flat. And yeah, my neck feels very limber compared to where it was. And so this kind of helps the shoulders hang in a totally different way. And it can help release tension. So if you have a lot of neck, shoulder tension from doing forward stuff, play with this and come back to it, repeat it. If you've got a couple minutes in sitting between clients or whatever it is that you're doing, go ahead and work with some of these motions, and really make sure you're using your pelvis to support your bending forward or your leaning forward. And use these exercises to help release habitual patterns that come in when you are overworking, to help those muscles relax if they've forgotten how. And I also would ask you after this lesson to just get up, walk around with your hands free. Don't be carrying your cell phone or a purse or a bag. Just do some walking, even if it's up and down the hallway at your house, just to feel what it's like to move through these areas. You may feel some totally different connections when you're walking. And have your shoes off if you can too. You're going to sense and feel a little better that way, what the differences are. So go ahead and walk around, see what you like, and see what feels different. You may like this so much that you want to come back and visit it every day. Either way, feel free to leave me some comments. Let me know what you'd like to work on, and stay tuned for our next video.